Welcome, everybody, to the inaugural episode of the Cincinnati Reds Weekly Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your host for the Cincinnati Reds Weekly Show, Mike Goodpaster. And today we're going to talk about some signings the Reds have made. One was a huge addition the whole world knows about. Another one kind of flies under the radar, but could be a huge addition before this season is over. And then we're going to project kind of the Cincinnati Reds starting lineup for the next season. That could change within the next week if you get another signing of another player, but we're going to give it a shot today, so I hope you guys enjoy listening. Make sure you check us at The Grueling Truth. Make sure you go check out thegruelingtruth.com. Now, the Reds have not confirmed reports as of the taping of this show, but it appears that the club and Japanese outfielder Shogo Akiyama have agreed to a 3-year deal. While it's doubtful the Reds are finished tweaking this roster, I think adding Akiyama would seem to indicate an end to Cincinnati's pursuits of Ozuna and Castellanos. Now, the Reds have been looking to upgrade their hitting all offseason. Multiple rumors have had Cincinnati in the bidding for Ozuna, Castellanos, Cole Calhoun, Corey Dickerson. In the end, however, it appears Cincinnati settled on Akiyama. The Japanese outfielder offers the most positional flexibility. So if you want to keep Nick Senzel, you can, and you can move Akiyama to right field or left field. And, you know, that is the big thing about Akiyama is just his flexibility and his ability to play all three outfield positions. Now, Trent Rosecrans also reported that the Reds will look to maybe make Akiyama a table setter at the top of the lineup. And this shouldn't come as any surprise to anybody. If you look at Akiyama's on-base percentage, it has to be the biggest selling point for any team that was looking to acquire his services. Akiyama, while playing for the Seibu Lions in the Nippon Professional League, had an on-base percentage north of .385 for the past 5 seasons. And according to the Major League Baseball Network's John Heyman, Akiyama's deal is likely for 3 years. It will eclipse $20 million, with an average annual value estimated to be around $7 million per season. Akiyama's deal will come in well below the assumed commitment that it'll take to land Ozuna and Castellanos. Both Ozuna and Castellanos are expected to haul in north of $14 million this season, and this gives the Reds the flexibility to bring somebody else in also. Ozuna is predicted to have an AAV value of $15 million per season, though that price tag has likely gone up. Castellanos is being heavily courted by the Texas Rangers, and he's expected to sign a deal around 4 years, $50 million. So by adding Akiyama, the Reds not only have a player who can hit atop the lineup and play all over the outfield, but he comes at a price that Cincinnati can afford while still remaining in the conversation for adding a bullpen arm or two. The Reds could also still be in the hunt for a shortstop via trade. So let's go ahead and look at what a projected lineup could be for opening day, assuming everybody's healthy. And for argument's sake, let's just assume that Nick Senzel is still a part of the Reds on opening day this coming season, and it'll be playing in the outfield. Under that premise, it's likely that Senzel will play virtually every day in man center field. Under that same idea, I think one can only assume that Akiyama may find a home in left field. His 20 home runs, 62 RBIs, .303 batting average, his on-base percentage is phenomenal, while playing for the Seibu Lions in the Nippon Professional Baseball League, which is a high level of baseball. Akiyama has primarily been a center fielder, but he has the ability to play all three outfield spots. Now, given Akiyama's .376 career on-base percentage, I'd look for the Reds to be placing him as the team's leadoff hitter, of course. No one on last year's team really grabbed the top spot in the batting order, so having a player with a high OBP like Akiyama, I think, is welcome to top Cincinnati's batting order. Now, though he had a down year in 2019, I would say Joey Votto is still likely the perfect guy to snag the number 2 spot in the batting order for the Reds. Votto, like Akiyama, has a long-standing high on-base percentage throughout his career, and I can't see anyone on this team right now unseating the veteran first baseman from his spot in the batting order. If you look at the number 3 spot, I think that's locked down by Eugenio Suarez. I mean, he fell behind only the New York Mets rookie Pete Alonso in a home run race last season, and everyone, I think, expects Gino to maintain his stranglehold on the third spot in the batting order. Perhaps Suarez can break the career high on home runs of 49 that he smacked last year. And, of course, we know Great American Ballpark, a juiced-up ball, and sometimes juiced-up players. Not saying he is, but the juiced-up ball in Great American Ballpark make that a very real possibility. Now, the cleanup spot may be up for grabs between a Reds newcomer and last year what I think is most entertaining rookie. Mike Moustakas, of course, is the newcomer. And Moose, big time, can play the 4 spot here, especially Great American Ballpark. And, of course, Aquino brings the power that Cincinnati will be looking for. So these guys at the number 4 seed, either one of them is a great choice. And given that Aquino may be splitting some playing time with Jesse Winker, I think we'll go ahead and give the nod to the Moose at the number 4 spot. So number 1 through number 4 in this batting order is spoken for. And if Akiyama is what everybody predicts he'll be, this team has a chance to be really good. And the great thing today is I looked at a Cubs website. And the headline on the Cubs website was, it looks like the Cincinnati Reds are going to be a major problem this year for the Chicago Cubs. And I think they're going to be a major problem in this division for everybody. And the top 4 of the order is set. And, given the rotation or the platoon that we watched David Bell employ last season, one should assume we'll see the same thing in 2020 with either Winkler or the Punisher occupying this 5th spot in the order. Now, Bell has a left or right-handed bat he can deploy based on the starting pitcher that way. And assuming Senzel is not traded, he'll likely take the number 6 spot in the batting order. The leadoff spot brought mixed reviews, and the addition of Akiyama, I think, basically knocks Senzel back to the 6th spot. It might not be a bad thing, though, as Senzel saw more at-bats in the number 6 hole than any other spot in the batting order outside of the leadoff spot. The number 7 spot in the batting order we're giving to Tucker Barnhart. So, while people may scoff at that idea, Barnhart has a career on-base percentage of .328, which is exactly the number he put up in 2019 after a horrendous start. Looking for a bounce-back year would be huge from the Reds catcher. Finally, Freddie Galvis, if he's still the team's starting shortstop, brings up the rear in the Cincinnati batting order. However, a lot of clubs would love to have a shortstop capable of 20-plus home runs, hitting number 8 in their lineup, so this is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, if no other upgrades come this winter, Galvis is likely to start opening day as the team's shortstop. So, there you have it. That's my take on 1 through 8 for the Reds. And while I still expect the Reds to make some moves as the offseason progresses, I think the lineup appears to have all of its bases covered, so to speak. And I still wouldn't rule out a trade for a player like Francisco Lindor. But for now, this could be a solid starting 8 for the Cincinnati Reds. And things look up compared to what we've seen over the last couple years. Now, another addition that doesn't have the glamour of Akiyama would be the Cincinnati Reds signing right-handed pitcher Tyler Thornburg to a minor league contract. So it's a low-risk, high-reward possibility. And Thornburg, I think, was a definition of a reasonably okay pitcher during the 2014-15 seasons. His ERA in that span was pretty much the league average. But, prior to the 2016 season, though, Thornburg's Brewers had brought in a new pitching coach, and the righties' numbers took off. Now, that then new pitching coach, of course, was current Reds pitching guru Derek Johnson. And after Thornburg reached free agency this winter after a pair of brutal seasons with the Red Sox, it's hardly a surprise to see a low-risk reunion between the pair. Exactly what happened when the Reds inked the right-hander to a minor league deal earlier this week. Now, of course, there always comes the worry if a pitcher goes from a couple years ago having at least a league average ERA, and all of a sudden he's signing minor league contracts in just a few years' time. That has to send up, some bells and whistles and some red lights. But something must have obviously gone wrong in that meantime. And in Thornburg's case, that's exactly what happened. He was dealt to Boston after the 2016 season in a pricey acquisition for the Red Sox, as they sent both Travis Shaw and Mauricio Dubon to Milwaukee to help bolster their World Series caliber bullpen. Unfortunately, Thornburg's shoulder gave out, and after never once throwing a big league pitch in 2017, he underwent thoracic outlet surgery to attempt to repair that issue. Now, in 2018-19, he just pitched 42 and 2/3 innings. He allowed 10 home runs, 31 earned runs, and posted an ugly almost 6 ERA. That's the bad news. The good news, though, is that his fastball velocity has largely returned. You're getting him back with the pitching coach he was most successful for a few years ago when he was with the Brewers. And the spin rates on both his fastball and curveball did rate as elite. And, something this new staff of the Reds, I think, certainly places in high regard. So there's upside here, and it comes on a minor league deal that allows the Reds to bail in Goodyear if things don't look fixable. And that, folks, I think to me is a solid all-around deal. And I know that as a Reds fan, the last couple of years, the purging of a playoff roster and moves that just didn't always make sense, looked like they were just trying to save money. They weren't worried about winning. This has changed. 2020 is going to be a new year, and it's going to be a great season. And make sure you check back here with the Cincinnati Reds Weekly Show. You can hear all of our podcasts on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify. Wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. And make sure you follow us on Twitter @Grueling Truth. So for now, this has been Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.